Public finance. In public finance, we study the finances of the government of a particular country. Thus, the public finance deals with the question of how the government raises its resources to meet its ever-rising expenditure in an economy. Public finance is concerned with the income and expenditure of public authorities. Accordingly, effect of taxation, government expenditure, public borrowing, and deficit financing on the economy constitute the subject matter of the public finance. Public finance is the study of the effect of budgets on the economy, particularly the effect on the achievement of the major economic objects such as growth, economic stability, the equity, and efficiency. It also deals with fiscal policies which ought to be adopted to achieve certain objectives such as price stability, economic growth, more equal distribution of income, and so on. Economic thinking about the role that public finance is expected to play has changed from time to time according to the changes in economic situation. Therefore, we can define public finance as a branch of economics that deals with the revenues and expenditure of government and with the administration of such revenue and expenditure. The name public finance must be carefully distinguished from private finance, which deals with the revenue and expenditure of an individual or a private business, and from corporate finance, which deals with the revenue and expenditure of private corporation. What are the objectives of public finance? Why public finance? 1. To generate revenue for the government. 2. Public finance helps to ensure favorable balance of payments. 3. Public finance helps to equate distribution of income in an economy. 4. Public finance helps to attain a good and acceptable fiscal policy. 5. Public finance helps to create employment opportunity. 6. Public finance helps to stabilize the prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. Then, what is fiscal policy? Fiscal policy is defined as the use of income and expenditure instruments or policies to control or to regulate the economic activities in a country. It is plan of action by the government pertaining to the raising of revenue through taxation and other means and pattern of expenditure to be applied. Public revenue may be defined as the total income that accrues to all levels of administration, both local, state, and federal. This includes capital revenue and recurrent revenue. That is, public revenue can be divided into capital revenue and public revenue. Then, when we talk of capital revenue, what are we talking about? Capital revenue is also known as irregular revenue. These are revenue used for meeting expenditures on heavy capital projects, such as grants, loans, and etc. Then recurrent revenue, also known as regular revenue, and these are income received on a daily basis, or regular basis, or yearly basis, such as taxation, such as fees, such as license, such as fine, and so on like that. Then, what are the sources of public revenue? How does the government generate revenue? 1. We have taxes. The taxes can be direct tax or indirect tax. We also have loan from both external source and internal sources. Loan can be from external source from international body, such as International Monetary Fund, such as Monetary Fund or World Bank, and so on, or internal sources from internal corporations or private individuals. Also, we have grants and aid from wealthy or developed countries. Wealthy or developed countries usually help the developing countries in time of natural disaster or any time of economic misfortunes. Also, we have license, such as driving license and other license that government issues to the people in an economy. All these are the sources of revenue to a certain government in a country. Also, we also have savings, especially when the country has budget surplus, whereby there is an excess over the budget of a particular year. The excess can be used in another year as a profit. Then we have rent and rates from government properties. Government usually venture into businesses and other properties where the government can generate revenue through rents and rates by giving it out to the public so that they will pay as time goes on. Then we have fines like the fines in courts, where an accused person is fined over a certain issue. Then we have postage charges. All these are part of the fines which generate income to the government. And we also have investments. Government do invest in businesses and some properties that yields revenue to the government at the end of the day. Also, we have government expenditure. When we talk of government expenditure, we are referring to the total expenses incurred by the government, by the public authorities at all levels, both local, state, and federal administration in a country. And the government expenditure can also be divided into two. We have capital expenditure and we have recurrent expenditure. Capital expenditure are the expenses on capital projects that are permanent in nature or that can last for a long period of time before there can be need for another one, such as building roads, schools, bridges, hospitals, and so on. When government venture into the expenditure, such expenditure, it has to last for a particular long period of time. It's not something that government does every year. So it refers to as the capital expenditure, and also refers to as capital expenditure because it usually involves a huge amount of capital. That is why it refers to as capital expenditure. Also, we have recurrent expenditure, and these are the expenses that are usually repeated on a regular basis, such as salaries and wages for the civil workers, such as electricity bills, such as maintenance of infrastructures, and so on like that. All the expenses that government incur on a regular basis from time to time, be it daily, be it weekly, monthly, or yearly, they are referred to as the recurrent expenditure. Now you ask, what are the reasons behind government spending? Why does government need to spend? We have the series of areas where government spends on, where government usually spend its revenue on in order to make the economy going on and moving on appropriately, to also to help the economy to keep growing to effect economic growth over a particular period of time. The first area that we have is general administration. This general administration includes the judiciaries, includes the legislatures, includes the executives, political appointees, civil servants, government ministries, armed forces, and so on. All these arms and level of administration, general administration in a country, in an economy, they usually government usually spend on them in terms of their salaries and wages, in terms of buying equipment for them, like equipment for the armed forces, and in order to keep security of a certain country intact. All these are part of the general administration. Also, we have economic service. Economic service such as agriculture, such as trade, such as industries, power stations, communications, and so on. These also are part of the government expenditures, where government spend on, where government invest in, and where government take care of, be it on a yearly basis, on daily basis, or with the capital projects, in order to make economic growth and to make the economy keep on going very well. Also, we have social services. Social services such as social amenities, provision of social amenities like building roads, providing tap, born water, providing electricity, providing education, be it free education, health, be it free medical care for people, then building markets, recreational facilities, and so on. All these are grouped under social services. Then we have transfer services. Transfer services include servicing public debts, granting loans, payment of pensions for the retirees, and so on. They are part of the transfer services. These are the categories of the areas where government spend, and that is the reason why government has to plan its expenditure so much to know which areas should take much, which areas should take less, which areas should be seen as a priority in the economy over a period of time. Those are the areas of public expenditures. Then we have effect of public expenditure. When government spend, what are the effects on the economy? What effect does the expenditure have on the economy? Does it even have any effect? One, its government expenditure helps to redistribute income or wealth in an economy. That is, such as provision of free education, free medical care, low cost housing. All these used to help the government to redistribute income so that virtually everybody, all sector, everybody in the society will have access to the government revenue, will have access to government benefits, and will have access to the basic things of life, so that it won't be so high in one part and low in the other part, so that everybody in the society will benefit from the government at a time. Also, it helps create jobs when